According to the Journal of Food Service and Business Research published in 2004, obesity is now considered a pandemic, as 1 in 3 adults are classified as being overweight or obese. Needless to say, there's definitely a lack of awareness that comes with knowing what exactly is in our food and who really controls this information. More importantly, we can see that this lack of information and non-disclosure of this health information into what's in our food can pose of a serious concern because it impacts ultimately the purchases that we make as well as our health and overall condition. Today I'd like to discuss the food education, what it is, who really controls this information, and again, what effect this then has on our overall well-being. These 3 points will be covered and taken from the Journal of Food Service and Research as well as peer-reviewed journals and articles that will be mentioned. So what is food education? Well, the American Nutrition Association states education is any combination of educational strategies accompanied by environmental supports designed to facilitate voluntary adoption of food choices and other food and nutrition behaviors conducive to health and well-being. So, simply put, food education is knowing what's exactly in your food and also how to make those health conscious decisions from that information. Let's take a deeper look into the PowerPoint and see what we can talk about by that. On the slide, you can see many common food choices and energy sources that we can happen to have every day. So let's say there's a hot dog, an apple, hamburgers, avocados, chips, just of common nature, common things that may be in a common diet for many people. Can we really say that we know all the ingredients in each one of these food items? Not necessarily. What about reliable sources where we can find this food-related information? Well, according to the Journal of Food Service and Business Research, it gives us some interesting statistics. About 68% of consumers in the U.S. said that they're not provided with enough information about what's in their food and where it comes from. And that 32%, it shows that they are aware, but there are some lacks and gaps of understanding of where they would know and understand what's going on. We can also see that despite a yearning and a high interest for people to want to know what's going on in their food, that more than 1/5 of consumers said that they're not knowledgeable of where exactly it really comes from. So we can see that this shows the gaps in the information as consumers want to learn more from what the manufacturers are really putting into and producing with their food. So who really controls this information? The FDA, USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Do any of these organizations sound familiar? Well, these are a few of the most well-known organizations and government entities that have a huge buying power and control over what goes in our food. So what's the problem? Well, many food labels use very nonchalant wording, even excluding ingredients, to where we really don't know what's really going on in the internal information of what's being produced in our food. Data from the Food and Drug Administration shows that more than 30% of manufacturers exclude information of contents in their food based on the regulation clauses that are provided to them. So, what cause does this really have on us? I mean, why does it matter? Well, without proper information in our day-to-day life and in our foods, people around the globe are consuming massive amounts of foods. The type of calories, the health conditions that are sprouting, whether that's obesity, cancers, clogged arteries, the list can go on. And the Center for Disease Control and Prevention states that medical care costs for obesity in the United States are staggering. In 2008, they did some cost estimations, and it totaled about $147 billion. And no doubt that this number has increased since then, being at 2018 now. So we can see that with a lack of information and such a huge buying power for fatty foods, it definitely is having an impact on us today. So, what can help this problem is having more insight as far as what we're consuming and allowing us to be able to make more healthful, conscious decisions. So we can see that these prices are continually gonna climb. 147 billion can easily climb into the 200s or even the threes, just because we're unable to really take control over what is being put into the information that we're not receiving. So what now? Well, today we've looked at what food education is, how this information is shared, and what effect it has on us. But more importantly, my goal was to inform you about the more detail on this topic of food information, as well as the statistics that consider obesity, and really looking at the statistics for the pandemic that is going on today. So I hope that this is informative, and I hope that we can now see that what now we need to do is take charge and take interest in what we have to do to better our health.